drawing and erasing. So I want to show you for sketching what I like to use. So obviously I use the calligraphy script a lot for my inking, but for sketching I like to use Sketching 6B pencil. And what I do is I kind of like go and back and forth between colors, so I can do like a couple different layers. So let's just say, so what's cool about the pencil, and I'm going to change the size here. What's cool about the pencil is that not only can you draw, but then if you turn your pencil sideways, you can do like some real rough shading. If I want to just kind of like do some like quick values or whatever. And then there's also this rub tool right here, which allows me to kind of like blur it more if I want. And also when I'm sketching, my eraser tool. So now, one thing about the eraser tool here is that, okay, I'm erasing here, right? But also over here, there's this opacity. So if I bring the opacity down, note that, oh, that's weird. Okay, I guess only some brushes work with opacity. So I'm gonna come over here to my eraser brush, and I'm gonna change my eraser brush to airbrushing. So what's cool about the airbrushing is, like, sometimes you'll be sketching a line and it's not exactly right, and so you still want to see remnants of it when you redraw it. So let's just start all over, and let's say I want to sketch, I don't know, like Donald Duck or something. So maybe I'll kind of do my construction lines of how the face is gonna be, and there's like eyes. So then once I have my construction lines down, I might like bring my opacity way down and then make a new layer, and then I'll switch colors. So let's say, I don't know, okay, so you're drawing your character or whatever, and then let's say you want to refine it again. For me, I like to go through a bunch of refinements, so now I'll make a new layer and change back to blue, and now I'm kind of like refining my image again. And then if I need to erase, go to my eraser tool up here, and maybe I'll like lightly erase, just so I can kind of like see where I was. Okay, so anyway, so now let's say I like that line, and so now I'm just gonna ink it. So now I'm gonna do opacity again, go to my script brush and make a new layer. And so now I have my script brush, and now I can do kind of like my final line. And now here's another little trick, like for filling in. I'm gonna drag the color. I'm gonna drag this color into what I want to fill in. So now, but notice if it's not fully filled in, it's gonna fill in the whole page. So I double tap 2 fingers to undo that. But here's a little trick. See how there's the little gap there, right? if I drag this and after it drops, if I slide, I'm still holding my pen down. If I slide left, right, see the threshold up there? It changes what I'm filling the gap. Does that make sense? So if there's a big gap, it's not going to work. Sliding left, right, that doesn't work. But if there's a little gap and I drag, now I can change the threshold. Oh, that didn't work either. I think it's just for certain, if it's like a tiny gap, it'll work. Let's see. Yeah, see there? I could change the threshold. The threshold is basically like how big of the gap are you gonna fill. Okay, so now when I'm working with this line work, the eraser that I'm using is not gonna be the airbrush. It's gonna be calligraphy script. I'm basically using the same brush for my eraser and for my brush, because what's good about that is then I'm gonna change the eraser. Now I can get like a nice clean line. Look, I'm gonna shave this line down. I'm working on this line. I'm gonna clean this line up right here. So I'm kind of like working that line to like to make it nice and smooth. Maybe I want to chop this edge right here to make this like a nice clean cut. And same with like these. Maybe I want to cut those a little bit to make them nice and clean. So I'm using my eraser tool. Maybe I want to cut this line. Maybe I want to cut this line and clean that up. So let's say cut that, go back to my brush, make a nice point. All right, so that makes sense. That's enough for line work and erasing. I think that's what I like to practice is using your thickness and thin by using the weight of your pen. You could change the thickness. I'm gonna change my eraser, cut this down, so I get a nice clean point there. Cut this top one down, get that clean point. This one, go back to my pen. Now I can continue. That one, look, I messed up this, so I'm gonna go back to my eraser, chop that, go back to my pen, and then do it again from here. And then I'll go back to my eraser and kind of clean this line up. Alright, so yeah, that's about it. So I want a little eyeball in there. Go to my eraser. Or not eyeball, but like a little sheen eyeline. I don't know what you call it. Now go back to my pen, clean this line up, make it pointy. Alright, so yeah, that's it. And now you can hide all of the sketch layers and you got your clean outline layer.